Imagine a steel chamber, completely sealed from the outside world. Inside, we place a cat. Next to the cat, we place a tiny counter, a tiny amount of a radioactive substance, a small hammer, and a vial of hydrocyanic acid. The setup is cruel, but precise. Within the hour, there is an exact 50% chance that a single atom of the substance will decay. If it decays, the counter registers it, releases the hammer, shatters the vial, and the cat dies. If it doesn't decay, the cat lives. We close the lid. We wait 60 minutes. Before we open that box, what is the state of the cat? To a rational mind, the answer is obvious. The cat is either alive or it is dead. Our ignorance of the truth doesn't change the truth. The universe already knows what happened inside that box. Except, according to the foundation of modern physics, it doesn't. This is Schrödinger's cat, the most misunderstood thought experiment in scientific history. In 1935, an Austrian physicist named Erwin Schrödinger proposed a scenario so deeply unsettling that it forced humanity to question the very fabric of objective reality. Phase 1. The obsession with the unseen. To understand why Schrödinger built this mental trap, we have to look at the decade leading up to it. In the 1920s, physics was tearing itself apart. Scientists like Werner Heisenberg and Niels Bohr were peering into the subatomic world and finding things that defied logic. At the quantum level, particles didn't act like tiny billiard balls. They acted like waves. A single electron didn't exist in one specific spot. Instead, it existed in a cloud of possibilities. It was everywhere and nowhere all at once. Physicists called this superposition. The math worked perfectly, but it left a glaring, haunting question. If a particle can be multiple things at the same time, why do we only ever see one thing when we look at it? The prevailing theory, the Copenhagen interpretation, offered a radical answer. The act of looking changes the universe. The moment a conscious observer measures a quantum particle, its wave of possibilities collapses into a single, hard reality. Schrödinger hated this. He had helped invent the math behind quantum mechanics, but he refused to accept that reality only exists when someone is watching. He thought it was mystical, lazy thinking. Universe 25 was built to test a society. Schrödinger's box was built to test a philosophy. He wanted to show the world how absurd this quantum theory really was by dragging it out of the subatomic world and forcing it into the macro world. Phase 2. The quantum collapse. Let's look inside the closed box again through the lens of quantum physics. Because the radioactive atom is a quantum object, it exists in a state of superposition. It has both decayed and not decayed simultaneously. But the atom is connected to the counter, which is connected to the hammer, which is connected to the poison, which is connected to the cat. Therefore, Schrödinger argued, if the subatomic world is a blur of probabilities, then the entire box must be infected by that blur. According to the quantum math of his peers, until you lift that lid, the cat is not alive or dead. It is trapped in a horrific mathematical limbo. It is a living-dead hybrid. The cat's destiny is tied to a wave function. This is the moment where the philosophy comes apart. In a normal world, things happen whether we see them or not. Tree branches fall in empty forests. Clocks tick in empty rooms. But inside the quantum frame, the universe hesitates. It refuses to make a decision until it is forced to. When Schrödinger published his paper, the world ran with the obvious reading. Pop culture turned the cat into a meme about uncertainty. People used it to argue that humans create their own reality, that nothing is real until we look at it.
The real conclusion, the paradox of measurement. Schrödinger's real conclusion wasn't that cats could be zombies. His point was that the Copenhagen interpretation was missing something massive. A cat cannot be both alive and dead. Therefore, something else must be happening to collapse the wave function long before a human ever opens the box. What nobody realized at the time was that a quantum particle doesn't need a human to look at it to collapse. It just needs to interact with the environment. The moment the radioactive atom bumps into the molecules of the counter, or the glass of the vial, the universe makes its choice. Schrödinger didn't invent the cat to show us how magical the universe is. He invented it to show us the limits of our own models. He was pointing out that our understanding of reality splits cleanly down the middle. The microscopic world follows one set of rules, and our macroscopic world follows another, and we still don't know where the bridge between them is built. Like Calhoun, Schrödinger spent the rest of his career looking for the missing variable. He didn't want a universe defined by randomness and blind luck. He believed that underneath the chaos of the quantum world, there was a deeper, elegant order waiting to be discovered.
The experiment remains one of the most famous paradoxes in human history. One cat, one box, a universe hanging in the balance between two states. The quantum world tells us that until the choice is made, everything is possible. But the macro world reminds us that eventually, the lid must be lifted. The wave function always collapses. What we find inside is up to us.